Hey guys, what's going on? Tyrauku here, and I hope you're all doing great. So, yesterday I made a video talking about Hurndig, and I was talking about how he is so good in the arena as a Go Second champion. Now, in that video, I was using Nekhret, okay? Now, using Nekhret, a lot of people were commenting that without Nekhret, this team wouldn't really work, all right? And I don't think that's 100% accurate, to be honest, because while Nekhret is amazing, and honestly, I'll probably never use Hurndig without Nekhret in about 99% of cases because Nekhret is just so good. He is a void champion, and he's going to be not very popular, of course, right? I mean, not a ton of people have him, but I want to show you guys some options that you have if you don't have Nekhret, but you also don't have a super fast champion. So if you want to build a Go Second team, using Hurndig isn't going to differ too much than using any other champion in a Go Second team. The benefit, though, that Hurndig has is that you can build him something like this in a stalwart set that typically you would have to go for speed, you'd have to go for damage as well, but for Hurndig, you don't really have to go for speed. So you can make a champion in a set that typically wouldn't hit necessarily very hard because this set is typically kind of difficult to get speed, crit rate, crit damage, all those stats, and make this good because I mean you don't have any ignore defense, you don't have any increased attack, but this works out very well that Hurndig literally doesn't need speed if you're doing a Go Second team. Like, he doesn't need very much speed. Obviously, you don't want to build him at 100 speed necessarily, but 123 speed that I had yesterday in my Savage gear, I was cutting in on my allies who had over 200 speed. So this is an example of my build. I literally went to Hell Hades' website and, well, the optimizer, hit Stalwart gear, and then the most damage possible. I completely ignored speed, and this is what I got. Now, this set ignores or reduces the damage taken from AoE attacks by 30%. Now, if you really wanted to go all out, you could jump in here and build his masteries perfect for this specific build. Now, this is pretty good. This mastery is definitely really good. You could go the decreased crit rate. You could go a bunch of different options. This is what I'm having, though. I'm leaving with the same nuke build that I had yesterday because I still want Hurndig to do a lot of damage. Now, the teams are going to be the same whether you're using Hurndig, whether you're using Trunda. It doesn't really matter. The benefit, though, that Hurndig has is that he doesn't have to worry about building the speed like I mentioned because his passive generates so much speed. The masteries generate even more speed from the Cycle of Revenge. Overall, he's going to have so much turn meter boost that after he's attacked, he's going to get a turn. So you don't have to worry about, hey, I need to get Hurndig to be at least 190 speed. I got to sacrifice some damage here. No, throw him in attack percent boots. He's good to go. Okay, this is where he benefits compared to other champions like Trunda, Foley, Yannicka, champions like that. Okay. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into here and show you guys some teams that work well with Hurndig. Now, I'm going to talk about several different options for champions. I'm going to try to give you a pretty wide variety. Like I said, though, you can use other champions in these roles. Champions like Kandrafon work obviously very, very well. He's definitely more tanky than Hurndig, but you do need to build him with a little bit more speed because you don't want to be lapped multiple times, right? A Go Second team is fine, but a Go Third or Go Fourth team, you don't want that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a refresh here, see what teams we get. So this kind of team, with a Go Second team where you don't have Nekhret especially, even with Nekhret, I wouldn't be hitting this team. Just because, I mean, we have increased speed, we have a strip, we have a fast champion, and the hardest hitting champion in the game, okay? This wouldn't work out very well, even with Nekhret. Now, the issue with Go Second teams is that you do need to have some decent game knowledge, all right? If you attack teams and you don't really know what each champion does, you could run into people who end up just destroying your team. So you do have to be aware of what's on the teams. You gotta be mindful about who you're attacking. You gotta be a little bit more careful because some of these teams are just gonna absolutely demolish you. This team, for example, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I have a big damage threat from Trunda, increased attack from Arbiter and Duchess both. We have some decreased attack and decreased defense from Krisk if we hit him. He's in the back. I'm not for sure that's the best spot for him. I kind of forget, to be honest. But also have the threat of Provoke. So what I'm going to do for this team is I want to use Hurndig, of course, right? Now, I'm not going to use Nekhret. We already talked about that. No Nekhrets allowed here, okay? So what I want to do in this team is they have no strip champion. So I'm going to use Seeker as the leader because he's going to give increased defense to all my allies. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind, this works with any team, is the Guardian set is actually incredible, okay? If you have champions in the Guardian set, or if you have the Guardian set, definitely put some champions in it. I mean, the Guardian set plus Bulwark plus Selfless Defender's Masteries work very, very well about taking damage from your DPS champion, so in my case, Hurndig, and moving it over to the champion who is more suited and more fit to be a tank and take some of that damage. So we're going to use Seeker in the leader. This Seeker has a shield set. And then I'm going to use my Hurndig, which is back here. We're going to use Hurndig behind Seeker. And then I have the Provoke that could come in from Krisk. So I want to go ahead and use my Skytouch Shaman. Skytouch Shaman is currently built to an immunity gear pretty fast, so she can cleanse, and then we take our turns, good to go. So the Provoke is going to be the biggest threat to me. I don't think we're going to have an issue surviving Trunda's nuke, because Seeker does so well about mitigating that damage. There's one of two options I can do, depending on how confident I feel. I could either, one, bring in Madame Saris. She would apply debuffs to everybody, allowing me to nuke with Hurndig pretty easily. Or I could be on a little bit more, I guess, worried, like, I guess, conservative side. The best, I don't know why I just went blank on what word to use, but a little bit more safer side. That's a good word. Safer. What in the world? Safer side. And use Sandlash Survivor, okay? Trunda's not nuking through this. She could probably nuke through, or possibly, I've seen some Trundas do some nasty, nasty things. Let's go ahead and give this a shot, see how it works out. This is a team that's going to go faster than us, but they're not super, super heavy in damage, okay? Don't get me wrong, though. Trunda can hit like an absolute truck, of course. Everybody knows that. She stunned him because he has such low resistance. Perfect, okay? We cleanse everything. Hopefully he doesn't cut in here. I've had to get my Madam pretty daggone fast to hopefully allow her to go before Hurndig, because what happens a lot is he'll cut in, and it's an issue. So you need to make sure your champions, if you want to speed tune, make sure that they're quite a bit faster than Hurndig. Like I mentioned, he doesn't need speed. If you have any speed on him, like if he was 170 speed, he would have cut in past probably all these people. If he was 180, past everybody. He's 155, and honestly, I want to lower that a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit the Duchess here, because I think she has the most HP. So I want to go ahead and kill her. We killed her plus Arbiter. Not too difficult, to be honest. I mean, she may have the res. I don't know if she already used that or not. We'll see. Okay, so I think she probably already used that, to be honest, because she uses that on auto, so just to be mindful. But with Stalwart gear, we killed the Duchess, no problem. Duchess is a very tanky champion. Now, obviously, if they had Swift Parry gear, that could have been an issue. But looking at this person, let's see what their player power is. 6 million player power. So he has some decently geared champions, right? This is not just a gold 4 bot. This team is pretty decent. That's an example of a team who's faster than us, has a DPS threat, but it's not so threatening that they're just going to wipe out my entire team, no problem. Now, if I use a team without that survivability stuff, we would have got destroyed, definitely. Now, this is a weird. I said it wasn't a bot. This is literally the exact same team, the exact same order and everything. Risk in the back, Duchess, Trunda, and Arbiter. 229,000 player power? Well, that's so weird. So we'll skip that. 2 Foleys and Lysandra. This is another decent example of 2 big damage dealers. So here, I don't need to bring Madame Saris. They don't have really any big debuff, any big buffs that I need to strip. The decreased defense is going to be nice, but honestly, these champions aren't meant to be tanky. Kind of going back to what I was talking about the game knowledge in general. So knowing that these champions are going to be very high on damage, they're not going to be super threatening as far as big buffs. I don't really need to apply big debuffs to them. So all I need to do here is just survive their nuke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Sandlash Survivor in here. So Sandlash in the back. This works with any champions at DPS. But then we bring Sky Touch just for some heals, for some block debuffs, and some Revival and Death. The Revival and Death actually does come in handy pretty often. To be honest, I don't really need her. I could use my Hawkhorn Smash Lord actually instead. He's in a shield set, which is going to be nice. They have no strips. So I'm going to have a shield set from him, a shield set from him, and some damage block from him. So I got a feeling they're definitely not going to get through me. And then Hurndig is going to get some big turn meter boost because we have 2 AoE attack champions here. I got to be careful though, because they do have block revival in each of them. So if they kill me, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to revive anyways. So a little less reason to use Sky Touch here, because the Revival and Death does nothing. Well, you see it here. We just moved through everything. Okay, I had that on auto by accident. I turn that off of auto. He should use his A3. He uses his A2 on manual. It still hits pretty hard. Remember, he's not booked whatsoever. But we'll go ahead and use Sandlash. She'll probably clean everybody up, no problem. Use this, and then he cleans everybody up. Not too much an issue. If I used his A3 first, he would have one-shot everybody for sure. This team, let's see what their player power was. 2.6. Okay, so that's a decent reason why they didn't do a ton of damage there. This team, for example, let's go ahead and see what let's go ahead and hit some teams with higher team power, okay? Just so we can get a little bit better example. A team like this we could go against. They don't have any real threat here, so it's not going to be a great example. We are a little bit lower in gold. Honestly, most of these teams I'd be fine with. This one's going to be a little bit on the risky side. If this was a higher player power, I definitely wouldn't hit them. But because they don't seem to be crazy high team power, The player power of their account doesn't seem to be insanely high. They are pretty high level, so they may hit pretty hard. Let's go ahead and see. So here, the threat would be Arbiter boosting into Umbral, so she's going to provoke everybody. So I want to bring a champion who has an immunity set. So we'll bring in my Skytouch Shaman here. My Skytouch Shaman's going to have the immunity set. Madam's going to strip everybody of everything. The best way would be the Madam going first and then the Umbral applying the provoke. I got a feeling the team's not speed tuned like that, though they may be. It's a possibility for sure. But then once Madam does that, Skullcrown's going to nuke. We're going to drop Sand Lashed out and put Helior in instead, just because I need to use him, to be honest. I really just want to fit him in. I know he doesn't work great with Skytouched, but if this Madam cuts in front of Skytouched, then it could work out fine. But Helior, I paid enough money for him. I need to use him, okay? I need to force him into somewhere. But depending on how this team's speed tuned, he could come into some pretty good usage, okay? But I'm thinking it's going to be Arbiter into Umbral. Most players do that. The little bit better option would be Madam, because if you do Arbiter into Madam to cleanse everybody, then Umbral can provoke and don't have to worry about immunity. If I have immunity, it's a pretty easy counter. So then I just cleanse everybody, Revival and Death, and then Hurndig does his thing. They all have immunity, which I guess is from Madam's cleanse anyways, which she didn't do her decreased defense and decreased attack, did she? Well, okay. We basically just erased everybody, and they had block debuffs, so they didn't have anything really that threatening. So no increased defense. Increased defense isn't really Hurndig's friend. Definitely not. A2 ability does some pretty good damage. This Madam apparently is kind of on the tankier side of things. I was hoping we get some showcasing of Helior here. Barely, if any. So there, he killed somebody. Whoa, he got some use. So if the Madam was tuned right and using the right ability, prioritized on the AI, maybe we would have had an issue there. But as it stands, no problem, okay? And like I said, Hurndig is not booked, so he's missing like 15% damage, I think, somewhere around there. Let's go ahead and see. So he's definitely missing some damage. Now, these teams, like you have to have good gear on your champions, okay? So he's missing 10-20% damage. That's actually a pretty good chunk when he's hitting for what, 70,000-80,000 sometimes, maybe even more. But the champions I'm using, I'll give you an idea of what my seekers look like as well. A seeker right here. So his stats are kind of like this. Decently fast, not crazy. Decent accuracy, decent HP in the Guardian set. This shield set one, similar HP, similar build to be honest. A little bit better accuracy. Helior is in a stalwart gear. I could probably gear him in Guardian set, would be better for protecting Hurndig. But when it comes to building these Ghost Second teams, you just got to be careful about any time you have a DPS champion. You got to build based on the team you're fighting, okay? You got to be mindful. This team could be dangerous. They have an ally attack with a 2-hit from Skullcrown. The 2-hit from Skullcrown I know is going to boost Hurndig a lot, okay? So he's going to get a lot of turn meter boosted. He's going to go pretty quickly. Tormund can remove buffs. He's pretty annoying. He's definitely something I got to watch out for, but I got a feeling they're not going to hit crazy hard. Tormund's A1 ability does attack all enemies, can place a freeze, so I want to make sure I have Skytouch Shaman in here. This could be a decent time for Sandlash Survivor. This is kind of what I'm talking about, where for Ghost Second teams, you need a decent option, a decent variety of champions, because certain champions are going to be better in certain situations than others. It's not really a one-size-fits-all. So while Nekhret is just an easy option, I throw Nekhret in there with some other champions, and I can have Madam Saris. These teams are a little bit more tricky because you got to adjust things as you go along, and it's not just a, hey, throw this champion in, you're good to go. I can use the shield set Seeker because they don't have any debuff strippers other than Tormund, which I don't have to really worry about that on the first turn. The ally attack from Longbeard is going to boost my Hurndig quite a bit. I got a feeling he's probably going to cut in here because Skullcrown, in case you guys don't know, attacks enemies twice if the target has 50% HP or more. So she'll probably be doing 2 hits. She will be doing 2 hits with my Hurndig. So his turn meter is going to be boosted 20% from that, plus a possible 15% from the Mastery. Let's go ahead and see how this works. You can see his turn meter just gets filled up. Now, I would like for Skytouch to cut in here. Unfortunately, she didn't cut in perfectly. If I had her a lot faster, she's like 240 right now, but Hurndig obviously took a turn before she did, because if he hadn't, he wouldn't be frozen, right? Or he would still be frozen. She would cleanse that and would be good to go. Unfortunately, she did cut in, so she didn't get to cleanse his freeze. Had she have cleansed the freeze, he'd be doing his damage now, and he'd be way, way better. I'm going to hopefully provoke Tormund, maybe get some pressure off of me. I don't want to use this AoE ability. I don't want to take a chance in her being an avenging gear, counterattacking, and making my life harder than what it is, you know? Sitting here playing Raid, pretty difficult. No. So so far, so good. Once Hurndig actually gets his turn, we're just going to destroy everybody, okay? So his A3 ability, like I said, if it's on auto, he uses A2. We don't want to use the A2. He has increased attack. He's about to just erase everybody, okay? Except for the Torment and Skullcrown because they got annoying abilities that make them survive. So, what is it? Unkillable? Why did I go blank on that? Revival and Death from Sky Touched comes in handy for sure. Let's go ahead and I'm curious. Does this ability actually crap? I'm not gonna be able to see probably. I was wondering if his A1, if he uses it on Torment and kills him, if he gets a turn once he revives as well. Curious about that. Let's see his A2 ability. It's pretty decently hard. Torment's definitely a tanky champion. No decreased defense, nothing. Didn't even have increased attack on Hurndig, I don't believe, on that hit. We got the turn meter boost, but nothing else. So Hurndig, once again, did pretty good. Now, obviously, that was a little bit more risky because Skullcrowns can do some serious damage. But overall, not too much of an issue. Not too much of an issue at all. These teams right here, this is one that's going to get into a little bit more risky territory possibly, but a similar team like this should do okay. Now, Zargala is going to do decreased defense. I got to be mindful that the decreased defense is only 1 debuff, so I can't use Helior for that. And Trunda's going to hit like an absolute truck like she does, okay? Trunda's going to do Trunda type things. Now, if I had a champion with a really big shield set, it's probably what I would use here. I'll probably end up using Hawkhorn Smashlord instead. The shield, or the heal from Sky Touched is going to be unfortunate not having, but Hawkhorn bringing even more shield to the table is probably going to be what I need to stop this Trunda from just obliterating my team. So we have a shield from Seeker, a shield from Sandlashed, and a shield from Hawkhorn. So we have a pretty chunky shield on him, but Trunda may still go do some good damage. It looks like Hurndig has some pretty low resistance, so luckily he didn't resist the stun and got stunned. So if he gets stunned, Trunda only hits 1 time, which actually helps out quite a bit. We'll hopefully provoke her, and then Hawkhorn will cleanse everybody. This is cleanse, removes all debuffs, heals, places block debuffs, perfect. And then Hurndig should do pretty decent. Let's go ahead and reduce some of their buffs. And then once he hits, we're going to see some serious damage come out of Hurndig. Let's see what it looks like. And we just erase everybody, okay? So once he gets a turn, he's pretty good. This team, lowish player power, definitely 3 million player power, 168,000 team power, the best nuker in the game, so keep that in mind. And we had decreased defense. So obviously, these aren't going against top level platinum players, but these are doing pretty good in this area. So if you're in this area of arena, you can definitely use him as a go second champion, and he does perfectly fine. But you have to keep in mind, you have to build the team around the champion, right? Like if I was doing like this team, I wouldn't hit, okay? The team I'm using right now doesn't have an answer to Warlord, doesn't have an answer to Rhodos that well, I mean, because single target champions just aren't great. He's built to go against an AoE champion. So when it comes to like comparing Nekhret, if I threw Nekhret in there, it'd be no problem. I could go against that Rhodos team, not an issue. So if you're going to do a team like this, you need to make sure you have those other answers. Duchess works great. Anybody who can reduce damage. Guardian sets. Norog can work very well. Now, if you do Norog, you don't necessarily want to use, I don't think, a shield set, depending on how you want to build him, but I believe he ignores 25% of damage on the team if they have no buffs up, right? So decreases damage taken by all allies that are under 1 or more buffs by 15%. Decreases damage taken by all allies that are under no active buffs by 25%. So you can pick and choose. If you want no buffs, throw them in a Guardian set. Throw some other people in Guardian set. They're going to reduce a ton of damage, and you're good to go. If you want him in a shield set, just know you're going to be only reducing by 15%, but that's still pretty daggone good, okay? So I also have some champions running Bulwark alongside these other people, helping for some more damage mitigation. Now, this team right here, this is one that's a little bit risky, okay? Even though they're relatively lower player power, 2.2 million, I'm not even going to hit them because they're probably not going to hit that hard, actually. Let's go ahead and go through here, see if I can find somebody who's a little bit higher level, higher player power. Teams, typically, player power doesn't tell a ton, but it should show how well a team's developed overall. 4.8 million, okay, level 89. So this player's played for a decent amount of time, I'd say. 167,000 team power, not the highest, but Candrafon's strong affinity against Hurndig, so we'll go ahead and test this out and see how it works out. We have a Madam Saracen here, decreased defense and decreased attack, which is definitely something I do not want to deal with. She's going to strip the shields anyway, so it doesn't really matter who I run here. I would honestly rather run Sky Touch because Sky Touch brings a little bit more benefit than Hawkhorn when it comes to somebody who's going to strip her anyways. They're going to strip, and then Candrafon's going to nuke. It's just how this team's going to work out. Candrafon's going to hit like a truck, but I think Hurndig will survive because we have Seeker and Sandlash, so I think we should be fine. He should boost turn meter enough to hopefully get the win here. So a lot of this comes down to just kind of knowing the teams, how teams are going to function, and just getting a good feel and practicing with the teams. I played around with this quite a bit, and I'm still kind of learning where it's strong and where it's not. Unfortunately, like I said, Hurndig has a big problem with cutting in line. He is definitely a line skipper, okay? All these all these people are quite a bit faster than him. Like, I'm pretty sure Seeker, I showed you earlier, is like 207 speed. She is like 241. Granted, Lysandra did reduce her turn meter, but they're all fast. And he just cuts in line on everybody. I don't like that too much because I need to lower his speed more. He just gets so much boost. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. So I really need to provoke Kandrafon, but I can't because he has block debuffs. So I'll have to maybe provoke Arbiter. This is going to be a loss, unfortunately, I do believe, unless I can get Sky Touch to take a turn. So it looks like Kandrafon's ability kind of messed up on him. So we get topped off, we get everything stripped, and Hurndig goes again. So it's a little bit sketchy of a match. Not too big of a deal. Revival and death. Pretty nice. Now he's going to die again. We should be able to take everybody out, though, without too much of an issue, to be honest. I mean, as long as we clear the main, well, Arbiter and Lysandra, not even the main threats. Hopefully we can get rid of Candy over here. He hits like a truck, definitely. Kandrafon hits super hard. Had we have like a decreased defense or a Madam's Harris on my team, this could have gone definitely different. If I had Nekhret, obviously that's what I would have ran, but as a little bit more, I guess, free to play, maybe, I don't know, friendly, just a more accessible team comp, this one's better. I'm going to use a few other options. Helior works well against Madams, works well as they can. I mean, Madame Saris is just such a good champion. It's kind of hard to perform amazing against her, but he does do decent. Duchess works very well in Go Second teams because Duchess has 15% damage reduction anyways, and then a Veil on top of that. Very good. Both those champions together, very helpful. Now this is going to be a little bit weird. Is Madam going to solo my entire team? There's no way, right? There's no way Madam just destroys my entire team. This is going to be awkward. Entire team, I mean 3 champions. So apparently these people are not doing much damage for me. They're just kind of, I guess, supporting. That's all they're doing. That's really my only focus. I didn't think they'd get owned by Madam. Sorry if you hear the little kid running around in the background. Finally, they're dead. All right, so I'm going to show you guys one more match. We're going to use a little bit of a different approach here. Let's see if we can use a Duchess, throw her in one. This is a good example of a team that's probably going to jack me up. Let's go ahead and see. So we'll drop Seeker. We'll drop a bunch of these champs. Let's go ahead and test this out. So we'll put Helior in the back. We'll put Duchess in the lead. So Duchess is going to reduce some damage being dealt. And then I need to figure out who else I have in Guardian set. Where's my Duchess at? So shield set's not going to matter. This could put Helior or Hurndig in a pretty weak spot, to be honest. I do need a champion who's in. Okay, so he's going to cleanse everybody anyways. Sky Touch just feels good here because she does have the block debuffs. Duchess does as well, but Sky Touch has some really good heals. Let's see if I can find a champion who's going to help me survive, but brings some other variation to this team and go second in general. Sandlash is definitely good. Go ahead and use her, actually. I get too crazy with it. Sandlash is good. If I didn't use Sandlash, I'd have Seeker in the leader. I think Seeker as the leader is better, but in case you don't have Seeker, just know you can use Sandlash with some pretty good success. Well, I say that now. Let's go ahead and jump in here to see how that actually works out. My Duchess is definitely not geared for this kind of beating we're about to endure. And there's also the issue with not having a decreased defense or weakened champion. Oh no, a strip champion. So Hurndig's going to have to just nuke through all of this, unfortunately, and he's not going to be able to do that. Right? So we have nothing really we can transfer because they have blocked debuffs anyways. We'll go ahead and see what Hurndig hits like. Maybe we can get an attack off eventually, possibly. Let's try to kill Biggin here because he's really the only threat. And we did pretty good. Now, granted, we're going to get destroyed here just because of how the team worked out. Duchess can res, no problem. That's fine. Got a decent shield on Hurndig, I'd say, and may actually be fine. Let's see. So let's go ahead and do this. And his A2 should do some pretty good damage. Unfortunately, we don't have increased attack right now on him. Go ahead and see. So no buffs whatsoever on Hurndig. And he did some pretty good damage as it is. Now we're looking back at the thing before where our champions are just supporting. They're not doing any damage. Not really bringing anything impactful. So once Hurndig gets a turn, we're going to be wrecking this Siphi for sure. This is the issue though. Once the DPS goes down, Hurndig, with him being slow, its turns much less frequent, but he still hits pretty hard. Granted, when they have increased defense up, not as hard, right? So if we can get a turn, once I get him booked, it's not going to feel as bad having his A3 ability. It'll be on what, like a 4-turn cooldown, I think, versus what, a 5-turn cooldown right now. But you get the idea. This team, maybe I could take Helior out for a Madame Ceres. That could definitely be a possibility. But I think he's pretty needed actually for that damage mitigation. It's just a decent idea. These are some extra legendaries. If I was going to do this team without like mixing it up too much, I would definitely have used a Seeker. So let's try this other option, okay? Just to test this out one more time. So we're going to use a Seeker plus, let's go ahead and use, so we'll use my Guardian set Seeker. And then we will use a Madame Ceres, I think. The Biggin does have some stuns that he could place. Let's go ahead and use Madame Ceres just to test some things out. Because if she works and she actually gets a turn, she's going to be perfect for this team. Now, this video is going on pretty long, 26 minutes it looks like. So definitely want to make this a last match, hopefully. So Sandlash procs her stuff. Seeker does really good about mitigating the damage dealt. Madame wakes me up. I love it. I love it when I know how it feels having Siphi and then somebody else waking your champions up. I hate it so much when that happens. Hurndig just cuts in line like always. Feels bad when he does that. He needs less speed, which is crazy to think that a 155 speed champion needs less speed than what he currently has. But, okay, so obviously that team is not a great example. Madame Ceres are the most difficult champion to go against if you have a go second team. So that is not a team you really want to attack into. One last one before we end this video. This is a good example. Okay, so we have a Hegemon who's going to be an annoying champion, but it's okay because Hurndig, remember, he gets turn meter boosted whenever he gets hit, period, right? So let's go ahead and drop out the Madam. We'll go ahead and put Skytouch Shaman back in here instead. We'll drop out Sandlashed and put Duchess just because I want to mix some things up. And actually, let's go ahead and put in Helior as well. So we'll do this team, okay? Trying to mix things up a little bit for us, okay? So no Skytouch, Crutch, and yeah, let's go try it. You get 2 legendaries, but it's mixing things up. I think Skytouched and Sandlash would work perfectly fine. The issue here could be Solus being pretty tanky. Other than that, we should be decent as far as how Hurndig performs. Unfortunately, he took the Provoke. Oh, I forgot. Helior is actually messed up with Provokes. Unfortunately, the Provokes don't get removed. I know they shouldn't get reflected, but they don't get removed at all, which is kind of feels bad, you know? Like, I wish they got removed from his A3 ability, but they don't. Nothing happens to him at all. He's mitigating quite a bit of damage there, luckily. Hurndig is not being free from that. He going crazy and one-shot her. So one-shot the Solus. His A1 hits pretty hard, obviously. And then we just move on from there. Level 90, 157,000 player power. A Hegemon, Solus, Tyrell. He works very good. Hurndig is also, another side note, pretty good counter for Warlord if you get him in the right team. Because Warlord locks you out from your skills. Hurndig's A1, if it kills somebody, reduces your cooldown. So it can definitely be good against Warlords as well. I'm still working on building a team around that. And I'm still going to work on building teams for Hurndig, but I just want to give you guys some options to use him in a go second team if you wanted to try. So like I said, I know my video yesterday was using Nekhret, and while he is obviously amazing with Nekhret, and Nekhret is really the best champion you want to run him with, there are other options, okay? You do have to have a decent champion variety, but you could either just tank it through the hits, or you could cut in. You can run it with Hegemon. There's a lot of options for a go second team. The Nekhret was just one example of it, okay? So any go second team where you would use a DPS, even the Cardinal strategy, where Cardinal reses your team and then they attack, that works with this as well. Hurndig, I just like him so much because you can ignore the speed and just go all out damage. I'm going to put him back into his Savage gear. I'm going to put him back with Nekhret. I'm going to try some more teams. CVC coming up. I'm going to book him out. Probably one of my more enjoyable champions I currently have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. 30 minutes later, I hope you've taken something from it. Hopefully it wasn't just a lot of rambling on and on and on. Hopefully it's giving you some kind of value. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to click one of the videos about to pop up, and I'll catch you in the next one.